Tonight, the accused Wallaroo gunman fronts court after a dramatic 28-hour manhunt that forced parts of the town into lockdown. And the region's farmers hold out for more rain, with many crops well overdue for a drink.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. 25-year-old Jake Don't, the accused Wallaroo gunman, has fronted the Elizabeth Magistrates Court today after his dramatic arrest just north of Port Wakefield last night. A woman suspected of assisting the alleged fugitive has also been charged. Our Port Pirie reporter Rachel Nell has more.
Following a 28-hour manhunt for alleged gunman Jake Don't, police closed in on him shortly after 5:30 last night. Police received information that Don't was travelling in a grey Holden sedan. Police then managed to successfully spike the car before it crashed into another just north of Port Wakefield. It's alleged police chased Don't after he fled the scene of the crash to a nearby paddock, and officers were quick to arrest him at gunpoint. Police had previously described Don't as armed and dangerous, but it's believed authorities recovered the firearm that Don't allegedly pointed at them from the backyard of a Wallaroo house. A 27-year-old Clearview woman has now been arrested and charged with impeding an investigation, breaching bail, and was due to face the Adelaide Magistrates Court today. Jake Don't appeared in the Elizabeth Magistrates Court today, charged with endangering a life, driving dangerously to escape police, aggravated assault and firearm offences. He will remain in custody until his next court appearance.
Whyalla Council has successfully prosecuted the owner of a dog who bit an 11-year-old boy last year. The child suffered leg injuries after being bitten by a bull terrier in Gordon Street last December. The dog was ordered to be put down and the owner was charged over the incident. The owner fronted the Magistrates Court earlier this week and was ordered to pay a penalty in excess of $2,500. In a statement, Council CEO Chris Cowley says they will not hesitate to prosecute dog owners for acts that endanger the safety of the community. Two men have been charged after being caught allegedly drink driving in Whyalla this morning. Police stopped an SUV on Panther Street at 1 a.m. where a man allegedly blew .13. He also had an interlock system on his car and was issued with a 6-month licence loss and had his car impounded for 28 days. The 28-year-old Berry man was reported for drink driving and licences offences, while the 46-year-old Whyalla man was allegedly caught blowing 103 on Jensen Avenue. He's been reported for drink driving. Both men will face court at a later date. There's been a growing number of car break-ins across Broken Hill in recent weeks. Police say there are a number of things you can do to make sure you're not the next victim.
It's a common thing to do, leaving a phone, a wallet, a handbag in your car while you do the shopping or run an errand, or just leaving it there overnight. It's a simple thing police are strongly advising against.
So we have had a number of stealings from motor vehicles across the whole of our command recently. What we've noticed is that it's opportunistic crime. People are just finding that there's things left in their cars.
With the growing number of car break-ins, police are saying the best thing to do is to make sure you don't leave valuables in your vehicle.
Or at least if they can't take it with them for some reason, put it somewhere that it's not going to be seen, so that it's not there, it's not opportunistic. They'll walk past, see there's nothing there, and generally just keep on going.
Local tradies have also been targeted by thieves stealing eskies, work fridges, tools and equipment out of the back of utes. Police say whenever possible, lock your car up in a garage.
They can lock their car up or their ute up overnight in a garage, then that's going to help them. Or if they can, I know it's hard sometimes, but take all of those tools and things out of the back of the ute. Just eliminate any opportunity for people that are walking past or out on the prowl to take stuff from their cars.
Police say it can be tricky catching car thieves, so it's important to not give them a reason to break in. If your car doesn't have an alarm, they also recommend getting one installed. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
The heavens have opened up for our region's farmers this week and they couldn't be happier that more rain is on the way. It comes at a time where many crops have been well overdue for a drink.
There may have been plenty of sunshine today, but it won't last. Fortunately for our farmers and their crops, there's more downpours of rain on the way, with up to 15 mils expected to fall tomorrow.
If it can be puddles of water laying everywhere on Friday all over Eyre Peninsula, I think you'd have a lot of happy people, so let's hope that happens.
And while the wet weather is welcomed, it's still a far cry from the expected average rainfall at this time of year.
We're about 100 mil under our long-term average for this time of the year, so we're sort of hoping that at some point we'll get some more significant fronts come through and build up some of our soil profiles.
Despite the lack of wet weather, the timing of rains earlier in the year meant crops were still able to germinate and continue with strong growth, but that hasn't been the case further north.
The northern Eyre Peninsula is desperate for a decent shower of rain to go through there, and hopefully this next front might go a little bit further inland for them, because it's pretty bare up there in a lot of places at the moment.
With this week's rains, farmers are now heading out in their tractors to make the most of spreading nitrogen fertiliser to give their crops a much needed boost.
And we're just putting urea on here at the moment and getting hit by it. So yeah, we're just getting some more nitrogen on it now to take it through as it starts to shoot up and start flowering.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
The Clare Valley Aerodrome is in for a major boost, with both the state and federal government committing funds to upgrade the airstrip. The cash splash will mean better and safer access for emergency services.
It's a flying finish for the Clare Valley Aerodrome. The club's set to receive over $950,000 worth of upgrades.
$395,000 from the state government, and I think it's over $400 and something thousand from the federal government. So it just goes to show you that when you work together and all go in the same area, what we can achieve.
The group has also received in-kind donations and funding from the Clare and Gilbert Valleys Council. Over 1,000 metres of the runway will be resealed and line marked, with 24 hours all-weather lighting set to line the runway as well. But it's the Royal Flying Doctor and the CFS who are the major winners, frequently using the remote airstrip.
It'll allow larger aircraft, and it will be a support in a medical sense for the Royal Flying Doctor as well. But importantly, I think it'll add to the importance and the value of this resource in terms of fighting fires.
The 24-hour and all-weather accessibility to the airstrip will be an enormous benefit to emergency services and local pilots, with the runway previously unavailable during severe wet weather events.
It will make it easier for training here and for aerotech who do aerial agriculture from here.
The local flying group will begin planning the upgrade in the coming weeks. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, the most wonderful works made or sold out of the homes of locals to be put on show. Growing the number of apprentices in South Australia is a must, according to Industry Minister David Personi. In a visit to the Steel City, he says Whyalla could play a role in growing the industry through the local TAFE.
The Upper Spencer Gulf knows the value of apprenticeships and trainees. Our economic base depends on them, and any decline is a concern. That's a reality the region is facing, with the number of apprentices dropping rapidly in recent years.
Since 2012 to 2017, over that 5-year period, we saw a 60% drop-off in a number of apprentice and trainees.
The Minister was in Whyalla yesterday meeting with local stakeholders about the issue. With both the mining and defence industry set to ramp up, getting students skilled in those areas is a must. Mr. Personi, himself a former apprentice, says increasing the amount of apprentices starts in school.
People can move into a career through the vocational path, knowing that they've got so many options once they have that apprenticeship.
And Mr. Personi has flagged Whyalla as playing a pivotal role. He says the local TAFE has the room to expand, which will help keep apprentices in the regions.
So as that fewer apprentices need to go to Adelaide to complete their off-the-job training. We'd like to see that more of that off-the-job training done here.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
For those who might be looking for a new sport to try, sailing could be it. The Port Lincoln Yacht Club is hosting a Come and Try Day this weekend to encourage people of all ages to find out what makes sailing an excellent choice of sport. The event will introduce kids to the sport and show others the possibilities of sailing on the local keel boats.
People who are interested in sailing but haven't had any involvement at the sailing club yet, gives us an opportunity to let them know what we do and the classes we sail and how they can get involved.
The activities day will kick off at 12 o'clock on Sunday. After just 6 months of service, Port Lincoln's premier restaurant continues to be recognised as one of the best new go-to locations in the state. The Line and Label secured a spot as a finalist for Best New Regional Restaurant among some big names, including the famous Darrenberg Cube in McLaren Vale. While the iconic Cube took out the top honours, the team behind Peter Teakle's premier restaurant were proud to fly the Eyre Peninsula flag. Wilmington is gearing up to host this weekend's annual out-of-home market sale, bringing with it the region's finest works made or sold out of the homes of locals.
Growing your own business from home can be a tough task anywhere you live. The Wilmington Progress Society is hoping Sunday's event will make it a little easier for regional DIY businesses.
It's really just giving people that have businesses out of their homes or make or create something out of their home a space to sell their stuff.
Though there's one rule: all stalls must not have a shop front. In its second year, the idea behind the market is to help local creatives build their businesses.
Even if they're not making a lot of money on the day, it's really just about exposure for them.
Woodwork, clothing, makeup and homewares are just some of the items sold among the 25 stalls. Businesses from Uluru, Hawker, Jamestown and Whyalla have all registered to sell their products.
Well, it's just so nice to be able to show your wares without having to try it on Facebook.
Accompanying the out-of-home market sale this weekend is the town garage sale. Already 15 homes have registered to sell their old knickknacks, giving visitors the chance to walk around Wilmington from house to house in search of a bargain. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Some new gym equipment in a Broken Hill park is giving locals a chance to get more active. There's hopes more of the outdoor gyms will be installed around the town.
A beautiful outdoor location to work up a sweat.
It's a great opportunity for people to come down, work out in the sun. The kids can come and play on the skate park and everything, and you can grab a quick workout.
The new outdoor gym in Sturt Park was installed by City Council in May, and they say it's been well received. While it may not have all the bells and whistles of a commercial gym, it has a good variety of equipment.
Well, there's plenty of stations that have lots to offer. You have sit-ups, push-ups, you've got your chin-ups, you've got dips. There's heaps of variety that you can do on it. You just got to use your imagination for some.
Council is looking to install more of the outdoor gyms across the city. In the meantime, there'll be an instructional day held this weekend to show locals how to use the equipment.
Seek about $85,000 through the Stronger Country Communities Fund to put in a few more gyms like this. We've put this one in as a bit of a trial and it's getting a bit of use, so if we're lucky in that fund we'll look to put a few more in.
The instructional day will be held Sunday morning at 10:30.
Have a go. We're here to help you and let's start making Broken Hill more active, more healthy.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the region's fuel prices.
And it looks like we could see some well-needed rain in the coming days. I'll have all the local details next.
Time now for Fuel Watch. Here's Patrick.
As school holidays come to a close, petrol prices are starting to tumble. Many regions are starting to see a drop in their unleaded figures. Port Lincoln is the only one to see an increase in its price. A 3-cent spike is seeing locals pay around $1.54 a litre. Whyalla has enjoyed another week of breaking even, but it's still a very pricey $1.54. Port Augusta is down by a cent, and it's the same story for Port Pirie. Kadina has seen a slight change, but remains at $1.48. Here in Broken Hill, we've experienced a drop of about a cent, while in Adelaide, the price is on the downward spiral, hovering around $1.33. Turning over to diesel now, and it's been a really quiet week. Whyalla is the only one to see a change, and it's a good one too, with prices dropping by a cent. A quick look at the other Spencer Gulf centres shows Port Lincoln and Port Augusta on 153, Port Pirie on 149 and Kadina at 148. The Silver City is still holding at 158, but things are looking green. Adelaide rounds out the board with a small drop, but it still sits on $1.42. Now remember, these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. If you happen to find a spot that does sell unleaded or diesel for cheaper, let us know on our Facebook page.
And now it's time for the weather with Amy.
Another sunny winter's day around all centres today. The mercury hit 21 in Port Augusta, a fine 18 in Port Lincoln. On the satellite, and cloud over the south associated with a cold front is bringing showers and a few thunderstorms to the southeast. If you're heading out on the waters tomorrow, there will be strong southwesterly winds up to 30 knots with seas reaching 2 metres. Sunrise will be at 7:21 while it will set at 5:30. A big thank you to Jono who are sending this lovely shot, and remember, we love seeing your weather snaps, so if you have one you'd like to share, you can email it to localnews@sca.com.au. Now for tomorrow's forecast, and it looks like we could see some much needed showers around the region. 20 in Port Augusta, maximums in Whyalla and Port Pirie will sit at 18. Wet and windy conditions are expected to arrive in Port Lincoln and Cleve come Sunday. A similar end to the weekend in Woodner with a top of 21. Showers easing by the end of the week in Whyalla, heading for a high of 20 degrees. Winds are expected to pick up in Port Augusta and Kadina by the end of the weekend. Showers also clearing up in Port Pirie with a top of 19 on Sunday. Showers and cloudy conditions in Clare leading into the weekend, and in Broken Hill a run of fine weather and a high of 17 degrees. So Abby, while it's been a lovely few days, fingers crossed rain hits the areas where they need it most.
Thanks, Amy. Here's hoping it does. And that's the local news this Wednesday. Thanks for your company. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.